2016 Porsche 911 GT3 RS Supercar in VR. Hello everybody and welcome to Opafed Gaming. I am the Opafed. Today we are driving a 2016 Porsche 911 in a Porsche Cup at the Autodromo Lago Maggiore full course track. And I hope I pronounced that right. If I didn't, I must apologize. Now, we are doing 5 laps. We're 16th of 16 cars and we started with a rolling start. Now, these laps are going to take a little while to do because they're decent length and we're not really going at really high speed. We're still going fairly quickly though. So, you know, you do got to try and keep up. Now, the cars on this in this particular Porsche Cup are really scattered. And there's 15 of them. So if you're held back by any of the cars at the back of the pack when you start the race, the ones in the front are really going to get away on you. So you really don't want to wait for anything but start passing right away and try to drive as clean as you can and squeeze by the outside like that and start putting some of these cars behind us. Because 5 laps, even though they are decent length, are not going to take forever. They will eventually finish, and when they do, we want to be at the top. We want to be winning and seeing that checkered flag for the first car out of all the cars that are driving. So we got to get moving. Now we're going to try and power by this guy on the outside. We don't quite have enough power on the corner, but once we get into the straight here, we can do it. So we're going to just, you know, slowly start catching up and picking off a few of these guys from the back that are going a little bit slower, you know, and thus try to move up a little bit. Now, this track has got a couple of places that are just awesome to pass. One of my favorite spots is right in this corner here. If you're right behind somebody, you can usually power around the outside of them, but they really slow down. So if you are stuck for a spot, that's one really good spot to pass. You can pass it here, but I don't really like to because I always end up overshooting the corner a little bit too much over here. So it's hard to take that turn, but it worked out okay. We passed them there anyhow on the inside. And we are finishing our first lap. Now, as you can see, there's quite a bit of distance between the car that we just passed and the red one in front of us there. So, you know, it takes us a little bit of time to catch up to the next guy, and you can see the gap between him and the ones in front of him are even further. So they're really spread out, and every time when you get by one guy, like this here now, you got a ways to go before you can catch up to the next guy. Now, what I'm implying is all that time that you take to try and catch up to the next guy, you cannot take too much time, because before you know it, you won't have any left. The tracks will slowly start to disappear under your wheels. Before you know it, you're in your last lap. And you don't want that to happen, so we got to try and catch up to them as quickly as we can. Now this Porsche right here in front of us, the silver one, gray, I guess. Not a very fast guy. We're going to squeeze by him on the inside here. And just slowly start to move up. Now our second lap is almost half, well, it's well over half. We're almost done the second lap. So, you know, we're quickly coming upon, well, not yet, but halfway through the third, we'll be halfway. Now, I wonder why these guys, every time we come here, they move into the center of the track, and then they come back to the left to take the turn. I just don't understand why they would want to go to the center, but I think if they're going to do that, and I have the opportunity, I'm going to pass them on the left-hand side. So if that happens, we're going to try that next time and see what they're going to do. Now we are catching up to a blue Porsche in front of us, and that will be getting close to the end of the second lap, I believe. Oh, we got a few more turns to go. Now with this Porsche, you can, it's a really nice car to drive. It holds the track really well. It takes the corners fantastic. If you use the full width of the track and you move from side to side, you don't have to really use your brakes a lot. You can use throttle control to get around the corners. Just ease up a little bit before you get to the corner. and that way you can keep your speed going as fast as you can without slowing down. So that's why it's a cool track to drive. Now I saw a couple more cars, they're way up in the head there, taking a turn. Yeah, they're already gone. So we better get a move on it because we got to catch up to these guys because we're getting pretty close to halfway through the race now. So we can't wait around much longer. Well, we haven't been waiting around. We have been trying to catch up. But around the corners, you've got to take it a little bit easier and slow down a little bit with this Porsche because you don't want to spin out in the corners either. But when you get on the straight like this here, you just let her go. And I tell you catch up to the next batch of cars fairly quickly as we are doing now. Now, these guys are going to take a little bit of time still to catch up to before we pass them, but in my mind I'm already in front of them. I'm one of those kinds of drivers that when I'm racing a race, I used to be where I had to win the race in the very first lap. I've managed to slow myself down a little bit, spread the attack out over the available laps. We got 5 laps, so you don't have to win in the first. Spread it out a little bit. Now watch these guys move to the middle of the track, and I'm wondering if that's a ploy to try and stay in front of the person behind me. But this guy, see, look, he came really close and he almost ran into me. And it's almost like he didn't know I was there, but now we're going to put him behind us and keep him there. So we managed to sneak by one in that little middle of the track area deal. He was trying to block us out, but that just wasn't going to happen. Now we got to get this guy behind us, and we're almost at the end of our third lap. Like I said, the next batch of cars though, we still got a few to go because there's no way that I passed 15 cars in 3 laps. And I don't see anybody close by, so it might be a little bit of a tough task to try and win this race. To sneak by him here on the outside, it just had enough room on the track there. Okay, we can see a guy down there just going past the end of the lap. And we know we got one more in front of us for sure. Probably a few more than one, but we will find out as we move along here. And we have now in our 4th lap. So like I said, the race is going to go by fairly quickly because you get so involved with it and you start to forget. That's why I always forget to count the cars. I count the laps, and even that I sometimes mess up in, but the cars I have a hard time with. So I just kind of race it as hard as I can, keep going, and like if, let's say this guy is the number 1 car, I'll get in front of it and I'll just keep racing still because I don't know if there's any more cars in front of me or not because I didn't count them. Anyhow, it makes for a fun trip, fun rip around the track, not knowing where you are until the race is finished, which is kind of cool. I love this part here where you just kind of snaking back and forth from side to side. There, like I said, if you use the full width of the track, you can cut off quite a bit. Now we're getting pretty close to this yellow Porsche, and I do believe he might be the last car on the track, or the last one in front of us anyhow. We don't see any on the road there, so we're going to squeeze by him here, put him behind us. Now if he isn't the last car on the track, if there's still another one in front of us, then we will be sure to catch up to him in the last lap and a half, or lap and a bit. Just gonna keep ripping as hard as we can. There's no point in slowing down until the race is over. But I do believe we're the number 1 car right now. We're the lead car. So we're coming around this here corner and then just down the hill, and then we're into our final lap. Now remember, this corner at the bottom, you always tend to overshoot it a little bit because you start turning too soon. We did okay there. And here we are into our last lap. Now I don't see anybody else on the track. Don't see nobody in front of me. So I'm thinking we are the lead car at the moment. So we're just going to try and use the full width of the track, drive a nice clean race. We don't want to push it too hard because we don't want to drive off the track. Even if we do, well, that yellow Porsche is pretty close by. If we drive off the track, he will pass us. So we can't afford to do that. We have to try and drive as clean a race as possible. And to do that, you just slow down for the corners. When you get to the straights like this, you just let it go. Let it go, and it'll increase your lead, and then that way you can take that little bit of extra time and slow down a little bit for the corners so you can make a clean turn. And that is the way that the Opafed likes to drive. Absolutely fantastic race. This is a cool track, not one of my top favorites, but I do like it. It's a lot of fun to drive because it's really easy to race, and there's decent places to pass and enough of them so that you can see movement and positions, and it's just a lot of fun. And I love these hills where you gotta go down. I think it looks really cool. It's a lot of fun to drive. If you ever have an opportunity to drive any of these cars in VR in Gran Turismo, give it a shot. You will not be disappointed. You'll enjoy going home, and then you'll be going out to the store and buying a VR headset for yourself. That's how much fun this game is. Anyhow, it's been a fun race. Really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed watching it, maybe even got some tips out of it. If you just watch it just for the fun of it, that's absolutely fantastic. Come and watch. Like the video, share them with your friends, hit that subscribe button if you don't want to miss out on any upcoming races. We got some good ones coming up, and we got a few different games that we're covering. Until the next time, you've been driving in a 2016 Porsche 911 GT3 with me as your pilot, the Opafed.